So I'm not a good golfer, right? But
you're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. Whatever. Let me try this analogy. So I might play with somebody that I've never played with before, and the first couple of drives, I hit right down the middle, and I go, man, you're really good. I might even shoot 40 on the front nine, which would be excellent for me, right? But then over the course of 18 holes, I'm going to probably end up right about where I normally end up, which is hovering right around 90, okay? Even if I had that 40 on the front, because even though I had some birdies, maybe a couple pars, on the back I might have a snowman, I might have a couple of double bogeys, whatever. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with Jayden, but where I think people got ahead of themselves is they saw the first 6 or 7 games and they're like, oh my God, this guy is freaking unbelievable, right? And he was. And it's a little different than my golf analogy because you've seen him in college, or some people watched him in college and he won the Heisman Trophy. Mm-hmm. But now there are more games, and all of a sudden you're seeing some bogeys. Maybe you're seeing some double bogeys, and it's not just all birdies.
I didn't see anything I haven't seen anything alarming. Nothing.
He may be regressing a little bit. Not to say that he's going to be bad, all right? But maybe he is not where we were elevating him. People were elevating him and comparing him to Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and the best in the game. And he was, even if you didn't put him in the MVP discussion, on all these national shows, he was in the MVP discussion. And people were buying in.
But it wasn't serious.
So what Lavero...
You can't win an MVP with 10 touchdowns. I mean, it wasn't serious.
Okay, well...
They're just filling time.
No, but it's also that they were 7-2.
Yeah.
So they were a team that was 4-13 a year ago. They add a new coach. I know there's a lot of other things they added, but they add Jayden Daniels, and all of a sudden they're 7-2. And on a track to be, at that time, they were the number 2 seed in the NFC. So they were on a track to do things that nobody expected, largely because of the quarterback.
Yes, 100%.
So the conversation has shifted, and what Lavero's writing is, well, why? Why? And fans just want to give the injury excuse. Yes. Well, maybe it's, I like your term, confluence of things.
Yes,
I do think that's what I believe it is.
Yes.
I do think that we may have been ahead of, over our skis.
Well, here's the only
ahead
way,
of ourselves to some
we'll
extent.
Be ahead of our skis, and I'll let you finish. He's not going to complete 80% of his passes.
Right.
That was a ridiculous pace the first few weeks, whatever that was. That's not real. Anybody that thought that was real is dumb. But I think he's going to be better than he was, say, on Sunday. Like, he was falling backwards for a lot of reasons, whatever, and just wasn't completing the throws. I think you're going to see a much more precise guy this week.
And hope he has some positive touchdown regression coming his way.
Yeah, get a couple touchdowns, maybe
like maybe some of those,
maybe some screen passes,
guys are tackled at the 1 or the 2. Like maybe Terry McLaurin makes it in on a 20 or 25-yard touchdown.
He's playing the right team. We talked about it. The Cowboys got crushed. They're on this losing streak. They got a backup quarterback, and a couple of their star players were at the club immediately after getting blasted.
Well, because they know it's over. They're well aware their season has drifted away.
I don't know if I have a problem with the after game.
I think Mike McCarthy has doubled down on Cooper Rush, so it won't be Trey Lance from what I've read.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the phones, hear what people think.
People want to they want to blame. His thing is they want to blame the injury. And I'm not blaming the injury at this point. All right.
What Lavero also wrote, and you can decide, but he wrote, it looked like a confused, overmatched rookie against Philadelphia.
Maybe. I don't know if he was confused, but I know he wasn't stepping into throws. I think he was under duress. Let's go to Andre in Manassas. Andre, what's up, bud?
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up?
Yeah, I have to. I know Coach Quinn said he's no longer injured, but if after every series he's on the bench, put in the Under Armour heating pad or whatever.
It's not a heating pad.
Whatever it is.
They're just compressing it for some reason.
Whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You don't do it quarterbacks don't do it on a normal day-to-day basis.
I agree with that.
Whatever they do, it's different, it's unique. So I got to say that I think it's still bothering him. Probably not to the extent that I think every day it's getting a little bit better. Listen, I think what Jayden and what made him so good is that all the reps he got in college, he played 3-4 years, and not too many people do that. And I think Dan Quinn said it best. He doesn't have that. He's still a rookie. He doesn't have that veteran experience in terms of not with not being able to practice and still performing. So he hasn't, to your point, to Quinn's point, he hasn't been in the practice field. He hasn't gotten those reps. So I think all that has come to a head. Yes, I agree with everyone. Competition is getting harder. But at the end of the day, I think, the best is
Let's see if they still wrap him this week. I'll be curious.
I'd like to see what happens there.
I'll be curious if they're still wrapping him.
I might not expect a lot of passing again. Like in the last 5 games for the Cowboys, the only quarterback that's gone over 30 attempts in those 5 games was C.J. Stroud with 34 on Monday night.
And Mixon had the huge game. Like, there's no reason to, based on what you've seen. You run the football against a team that has a worse rushing defense than Washington.
Jayden may only have 22 attempts this weekend.
Yeah, here's
he
how
may not
I'll
have huge
Jayden.
passing numbers.
Not by number of passes or any of that. What percentage of drives are we scoring points? Like, that's where we were dominating the first 78. What's upset me more than anything, I truly have not lost faith in Jayden. What I've lost a little faith in is the dominance of our offense that was scoring 30 points a game, right? That's what I'm watching. I don't care if Jayden throws it 18 times, 35 times. I don't care. I want to score points. I want that explosive offense back.
I think you're going to see a lot of first downs. I think you're going to see a healthy dose of B-Rob, like 18 to 20 carries from him. You're going to see 6 to 8 from Eckler. And I think they want to get Jayden running it again. They want to keep that 7 to 10 rushing per game if he's healthy. They want that as part of the offense. It takes that offense to another level when he is a threat to run the ball.
To EB's point, I really focused on the day after the game, the 3 and outs and the punts, and combined the last 2 games. So I just looked it up. Tressway has 30 punts this season in 11 games. 11 of them are in the last 2.
A third, yeah.
So he had 19 punts. That's it. In 9 games. So slightly more than 2 a game.
Well, they were on a historic pace. Like, they're scoring points per, remember?
Yes.
I mean, it was like a Super Bowl pace.
Yeah, but you brought it up.
Yeah, but nobody was going, this is not sustainable. Everyone was riding the wave.
80% completion percentage, everybody knew was not sustainable. I think 1 week he had 90%. I mean, that's just not sustainable.
Yeah.
That's not.
I know, but nobody was saying that at the time.
Because they were swept up in it. They were swept up.
I never thought he was going to have a season where he completed 80% of his passes. That's just dumb. But I might have thought that the offense...
Then why didn't you say it when it was happening?
Well, because that's obvious. But I might have thought...
Because you don't want to be a wet blanket, that's why.
Well, I mean, that's obvious. No one's going to complete 80% of their passes. He was on a heater. But I did think that the offense would be, once it became kind of obvious in the 3rd and 4th week, they were scoring 30 points a game, that we were going to score a lot. And that hasn't happened the last couple of weeks. That's what's surprising.
I know, because we're waiting for a counterpunch. The defenses, whether it be talent or scheme, have something figured out. Not everything figured out.
This is the week where
I think there's a part of it, but also the offensive line being hurt.
And I think everyone's just kind of waiting for this counterpunch to happen, and it hasn't happened yet.
I think
he's part of the running game is one thing. I wonder about the spying of him. Like, that's not a new concept, spy on a quarterback, right?
But it has limited him. They're keeping him in the pocket. They're
Weren't
making
the other teams trying to spy on him?
Maybe
like,
it took a few
I
weeks.
wonder if it might have been that the other teams don't have the personnel. Like, Patrick Queen caught him when he was rolling down. I thought it was going to be like one of those, like an RG3 75-yard run down the sideline, and he got him barely. That there are other guys that just are not going to get him.
Well, I think also they got him. Was it the Pittsburgh game where they called the draw? And I mean, like the shoestring tackle, if they don't get him there, he's going for 50.
Yeah.
So there's that a couple little, whatever. Maybe regression to the mean things.
I mean, I'm guessing a combination of things that the defenses have adjusted, and they've played better personnel.
I think early what they were doing is just pressure, just blitz, like top, right? And just bring guys. And maybe it's picking on. Now they're maybe pressuring, but they're also having a spy.
Yeah. And the Eagles have the number 1 or number 2 defense in the league right now in yardage.
Yeah.
The Steelers are, I believe, number 2 in points. Such great defenses.
Right.
And they're facing the exact opposite of that this weekend.
It's a get-right game.
During the 5-game losing streak for the Cowboys, the lowest amount of points scored against them was 27 by the Falcons 3 weeks ago. That's the minimum I'll accept for the Commanders. 27. It's got to be 27 or higher. Can't come in with like 17 or 21 points against the Cowboys.
So Eagles
That would be
actually
embarrassing.
number 1 in yards. Steelers number 2 in points. Those are the defenses they faced the last 2 weeks.
All right, let's bang out these calls. People want to chime in. Let's go to, let me see here. Let's go to Jay, Indian Head. Jay, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Junkies? Good morning.
Hey, good
Jay.
morning.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a balanced attack. If they're concerned about, well, we're saying that Jayden maybe, well, Dan Quinn is saying he's not hurt, but then maybe they need like a balanced attack because of course we missed B-Rob the last couple games or whatever, but I just think that, stretching the field a little bit. I think once we add more weapons on the outside, we need a blazer at receiver. So then that way we need like a Deshaun Jackson, Tyreek Hill type, speedy type wideout. We don't have that on the team. De'Ami Brown is supposed to be that, but he's inconsistent. And all we do is throw him screen routes. And we only had one deep ball touchdown. What was that, against the Browns? So we just and I think that's another team. But anyway, we just need something else to combat when B-Rob is out, somebody to stretch the field, to open up the running lanes, to help out the offensive line as well. I think that we've been doing a good job.
Do you think that we're over our skis on Jayden, that he's not as good as people assumed?
No, I think it's patience with him. It's game for game with me with him. I think he's going to be an elite quarterback. I think he's going to be definitely a top 10 quarterback. We just have to be patient with him.
Do you think it's disrespectful when a guy like Drabby says he's Trevor Lawrence? I mean, isn't that a slap in the face?
To that comparison, I'll say this. We had Sam Howell last year. There's a screenshot circling around online. Sam Howell had better stats than Trevor Lawrence. And Trevor Lawrence was a Heisman candidate that same year. The only difference is the school that gets the most attention is Clemson. Sam Howell went to UNC, went to North Carolina. So they're not going to get, and they won more recently anyway. So he's not going to get the same attention as Trevor Lawrence.
Well, here's the thing.
Talking way too much Sam Howell. What are we doing?
Look, Trevor Lawrence in his second season had 25 touchdowns with only 8 interceptions. So
it turns out that was a fluke.
Here, my golf analogy is this: was maybe we got to see the full 18 holes. His first 9 holes, a lot of birdies, maybe even a hole in one, and everybody's getting all fired up. But usually the truth reveals itself after 18 holes.
Yeah, but you're like a 20 handicap.
Yeah.
He's a scratch player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's a plus. Like, he's the real deal.
Right, but
so
maybe he's
it's not like he's
but maybe he's who's the guy that doesn't tip very well? The golfer
Kuchar?
Yeah,
Matt
maybe
Kuchar?
he's Matt Kuchar and he's not Bryson DeChambeau.
Well, that would be
Matt Kuchar is excellent.
That would be Trevor Lawrence.
EB, we need a good 12th hole. This is the 12th hole for Jayden. Need a good like an eagle.
Well, luckily it's a short par 3.
Yeah, he's got just a layup.
I think he's going to be on point. I think you're going to see.
We need a big one.
I really do.
Big one for the Jayden.
You could save all this, write it down, 8:40, 39 seconds. EB thinks he's going to be on point.
I think part of his story, though, it looks like right now it might change. The difference between him and some of these other quarterbacks, and it's not necessarily a knock. It's if they win games, it's just a different style of play. I don't think he's ever going to be that quarterback that has, 40 touchdown passes and 4,000 yards.
Statistical expectations like that. Right. It's just dominating performance with his arm and his legs.
I need some stats. I'll be honest. I need some stats.